How's everybody doing? Yeah, what's up, Boo? How are you guys?
Oh, here we go.
Let's get ready to roll. How are you? These nuts.
Is it on? Check. All right, there we go. Ready?
Let's go.
Ready?
Ready.
All right, please give a round of applause for our sponsors and Trevor for that amazing intro. Nice. Now let's get ready to rumble. All right,
Let's
I
go.
just wanted to do that. Come on, the ring.
He's gonna win.
I had to.
Off the top rope.
Okay, so on this panel, we're going to be talking about IP and storytelling when it comes to Web3 and Bitcoin ecosystem. So a few key terms we're going to be using is AI, artificial intelligence. We're going to be using IP, intellectual properties. But we're not going to be going into legal mumbo jumbo on this one. So later on, we might have some time for Q&A. But right now, we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves and tell everybody one thing you may not know about us, about you, okay? Yeah. I'll go first. My name is Ken, and I'm the creative director of Ninja Alerts or Pizza Ninjas. And one thing you may not know about me is that yesterday, I had the wildest mushroom trip ever. Like, I've tried mushrooms before, and nothing ever happens. Like, nothing ever happens. Then, it's like weed. When you first have weed, you don't feel it. Then the third or fourth time, then it really hits you. Last night was that time. It was my first time in Europe, and my first time really going on an actual mushroom trip. So I had to share that. So sorry, I had to share. All right.
I like that. I like how open that was.
You're so open about that.
Yeah. Did you like look in the mirror and go, damn, I'm black? Did you say?
No,
Wow.
I saw like kaleidoscopes. Like it was weird. When you close your eyes, you start seeing little colorful things. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's why Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, LSD, the Beatles, the kaleidoscope eyes. That's where that comes from.
All right. Tosyo?
Yeah, sure. So I guess for me, I'm Tosyo. I'm the founder of Bitcoin Whales. I guess if there's something that people may not know about me is that I'm very passionate about filmmaking. And I guess over here, I'm going to talk about shortly about our animation studio, briefly.
What's one thing we don't know about you, Tosyo?
Oh, it's about filmmaking, because I think not everyone knows about my passion about filmmaking, because they just know me from the whales.
Tosyo, what he means is you want us to go deep and open, like a confessional.
How many mushrooms you took?
Not so many.
I'm joking. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Henry, aka Star-Lordy. I am CEO of Oni Force, and I'm on mushrooms right now.
Round of applause.
Whoa! Do you guys ever wonder why we have faces? I'm kidding.
Homer Simpson. I'm somewhere where I don't know where I am. Oh, how you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the ring. I'm Troy Caylak, and I'm the founder of Ordinals, a sub 8K first anime collection on Bitcoin. Never forget that. And because you won't be able to forget me. And also, I'm the founder of Ordinals, a meme art project with some sick-ass, high-end, top shelf, stuff that we're doing. And something you may not know about me, I was a breech baby. They had to turn me around in my mother's belly, and she was really pissed. And I have a brother who's also, I'm Turkish. He's Turkish, and the same doctor delivered me 17 months later. And my mom thought I was gonna be a girl. So when I came out with male parts, she didn't have a name for me, so the doctor said, just name him Turhan. That's my first name. And my brother's name is Orhan, so the doctor essentially named me. So anyway, that's my long intro. Welcome again. Here's Dave.
Hello. There we go. What's up, guys? My name is Dave Kebo, and I am also a founder of Ordinals with my partner, Troy. Let's see. I guess I'll keep it on the mushroom hallucination psychedelic trip.
Look what you started.
Yeah, you can't start it off. So, I mean, a lot of my writing is influenced by psychedelics, and especially I had a trip on Salvia where I spoke to entities in another dimension and revealed the secrets of the universe and the cosmic joke. So that's
And it said Ordinals.
That's my intro.
Yes, we are all drug users.
Okay, now that we've introduced ourselves, we talk about the importance of IP and storytelling when it comes to Web3. So let's give some good examples of this, some examples of some successful IP usage in a Ordinals or a Web3 project. Could you guys mention any, or?
Yeah, first off the bat, one of my favorite projects, this legend in the room right now is probably the youngest guy in Ordinals, Bitcoin Booze, by our friend over here, Boo Toshi.
Hey.
He's definitely one to follow.
Legend.
He was probably going to be the Ordinal president by the time I'm expired. Bitcoin Booze, AI storytelling. The guy develops AI bots with souls that talk to each other, basically scraping the user chat of his Discord, and that infuses into the storyline so people get connected to the IP that they own in the project. Did I get that right? He didn't even know I was going to talk about that. Yeah,
Ordinal Tony Stark.
yeah, our little Tony Stark. He's going to be a billionaire. And another project, Yokai Avengers, OG project in Ordinals, and us, Ordinauts. I mean, nobody's doing better lore than us. Yeah, cheers.
Do you guys have it, or are you?
Well, for me, I'm a big fan of Pudgy Penguin, so we're kind of shifting to a route where we want to tell stories with short video content, basically. So, other than that, I'm also a fan of what do you call this? Yeah. That's all.
Cool. So let's move on to our next question. So, what are some opportunities that Web3 or Ordinals in particular give to storytellers? People that are into storytelling, they want to come into the space. What opportunities are there for them?
I mean, I'll take that one first. It's like, I feel that, okay, there's three pillars. The first is decentralization. I mean, the fact that you can build with teams from anywhere in the world and on bringing all of these different perspectives and really kind of like in a way that was never possible before. I mean, before, we might have been in a screenwriting group in LA, and you really are stuck by the geography of like, okay, well, these 20 people are here, and that's who we're going to build with. Now you can build with anybody. Second would be, I would say, is absolutely community. Because, again, now you're having a community, again, decentralized from all over the world that is able to get your back, push this forward, and like become not only like your hype team and your marketing team, but also really build with them. So that's a huge one. And third is like, the technology. It's advancing every day. It's becoming, Ordinals especially, is becoming kind of like new devs are bringing new perspectives and new technologies and building this thing out. So we are inspiring each other. We're creating new and interesting things together. And I mean, that's my 2 cents right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about Ordinals is the permanence of it. So Oniforce is the first anime PFP project on Ethereum. And when I discovered how inscriptions work, I was like, oh, this is forever. Like, this is a thing. And what I've learned since then is that for high-end art collectors, inscriptions are way more attractive than ETH NFTs. Because, like, for people in the high-end art world, like, if they're going to spend 6-7 figures on an item, like, they want to put that in a vault, and they want to forget about it for generations. They don't want to hear, like, oh, you're going to spend 6 or 7 figures on this NFT, but, like, if they don't pay their bill, like, the image is going to disappear. Like, that's not very appealing. And so I think for IP, what's really interesting about that is, like, you have a chance to preserve the culture of your IP on-chain forever. So, you think about like Star Wars or Marvel or anime, it's like they're gonna outlive all of us, right? Like our kids are gonna be enjoying these IPs. And so I think Ordinals is a very unique way to establish an IP in a way that's forever, and it gives holders a different level of empowerment when they actually own that item. It's like owning the first drawing of Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader or something like that. I think it just naturally gives it a much higher level of collectability in the long term.
Well said, well said.
Yeah, something to echo about that. Yeah, I definitely agree that there is true permanence when it comes to embedding your story into Bitcoin. Not only that, I think it is also a way for storytellers to authenticate their content when the time comes that we are able to inscribe our digital content, perhaps not anytime soon, but perhaps someday there would be a way for us to inscribe our digital content later on.
Well said. So we've harped on the good. So now, what are some unique challenges to building your IP on a decentralized Web3 ecosystem? Like, what are some?
One of the first challenges is that, I have the energy of like 10 men and a small nation, and my speed with which I work and the enthusiasm with which I bring is often not met with getting meetings together when you have team members that live on other parts of the world. You want to go, like this thing moves fast, like growth tech every minute of the day. We go to meetups, your hair is being blown back. And so when I want to call a meeting or set something up, it's in a decentralized team with no contracts, because if this were Hollywood, it's very different. So that's one of the biggest challenges. It's not like it's a big pain every day, but it's like, I want to work now, let's get going, let's push this out, let's get this sharpened, ready for market kind of stuff like that. That's the first take I'm gonna go with.
I'll just add real quickly. I think the biggest problems creating a decentralized IP are probably the legal issues. I think, like for instance with Oniforce, in the early days, we were approached by some producers in Hollywood that were like, oh, we want to like potentially adapt this. And then we were like, okay, and by the way, our holders who own these PFPs, like we need these PFPs to be in the show. And by the way, they need to get paid for it. And they were like, oh, you want us to send out like 500 royalty checks every month to people? Like, not gonna happen. And then also, managing the IP as you're growing it can be difficult because people will take the IP and they'll tell their own stories with it, and it might not fit with the canon or the actual like lore, which is a problem because like if they're gonna spend their own money and time investing building IP, they kind of need to know that it can fit within the universe. So I think like providing more support to the community in terms of what the lore is, what the canon is. It's kind of like, again, going to the Star Wars analogy, it's like trying to build the whole universe and all the characters inside before doing the first movie, which is like a very daunting task,
Yeah, just something to echo with that. Like besides the royalties, I do see that there could be a hindrance when it comes to growth of the IP, especially if it's decentralized. For example, if you want to keep it PG-13, but let's say half of the community wants to do something retarded or whatever, so there would be a hindrance to the growth of that. I would say that's one of the most challenging things when it comes to decentralized IP.
So, how does Web3 impact traditional media, like IP, Web3 IP? How does that impact traditional media? You guys are familiar with traditional media. You know the process, Hollywood, how that goes. How does this new decentralized way affect?
Yeah, so in Hollywood, so I work in Hollywood with this guy. I've been there for 32 years, actor, screenwriter, producer. Things are from the top down there, right? So in Web3 to me is a two-way street. If I create something and I want to put it out and then I develop a community, let's say you all are in the community instantly, and it seems like you're waiting for me to do something. Well, I think it's actually both of us. I do something, I hear from you, I'm hearing from a community, so there's a two-way street. And so they feel a part of it, and you're building, sharpening on the way up, rather than I'm sitting at my desk in Web 2, writing a script, I'm ready to save it and send it to my manager, and then they send it out to the studios, and the studios don't pick it up right away. They got their 21-year-old son who's the head of the studio has a 21-year-old son that may not like a few things that weren't mentioned in young, let's say, young nomenclature, young verbiage, and it doesn't get passed. So it's very gated, right? Here, you're talking with 300 people in your community, sharpening this stuff from every brick to the top. To me, that is a very different developmental way than the other way that we're known in like this old Web 2 infrastructure, which is burning down to the ground. I'll have you know, we're burning it down to the ground. That's why Bitcoin was created. We're doing it better. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
I'll add to that because I think he's right. We are both from Hollywood. We both came through that development system and understand it pretty well. But so I think that I'm not as like, it's not going to burn down necessarily in my perspective, but I feel that traditional media is going to have its own lane, and Web3 and what we're doing is definitely going to have its own lane. And I feel that we are going to grow at a faster rate, absolutely, while they kind of like find their whatever new normal is. But I think what Web3 offers is what Troy said is that feedback loop of development, because you can create and immediately get feedback from your community, what works. You can immediately build and then kind of like create and then throw away and then build some more shit. I mean, it's essentially make shit and break shit and figure out what works. And I feel like we have that instead of having a development cycle of 6 months or a year. We're doing it all day to day, week to week. So I feel like it's way fresher, it's way more interesting, and you are building with a community again. I cannot stress how important that is. So yeah, I feel it's a different kind of thing. 2 lanes, both gonna be around, but we are gonna move up much quicker.
Yeah, I do agree on that. Like both will coexist, and traditional will stay traditional. Like the beauty of Web3 is just we're just working at different pace. Like a month in Web3 feels like 6 months for us. So I do agree on that sake. Like for example, we produced this animated video. It took us under a week to produce that, but in reality, if you do that in a traditional way, it would take a couple of weeks or maybe a month. So I do agree on that sake.
Can I add to this really quick? So let's say for this. So if you are watching traditional TV, right, and they put out 6 episodes and it's just getting trashed by critics and it's getting trashed by user reviews, people will still tune in because they heard how bad it is. So those count as ratings by the Nielsen ratings. But if you're in Web3 and we all put something out today in Twitter, we just did a trailer, we're instantly, if it's bad, we're gonna get that FUD right away. So immediately we have to pivot. You have an opportunity to cry and go, I suck at this, I'm leaving Web3. Or you go, we've heard you, you make a valid point and we can resharpen and retool. So it's a different dynamic. I hope you're listening because this is alpha. I'm just telling you that. All right, cheers.
Thanks for that, Alpha.
Wait, what was the alpha?
I'm making sure that this is landing on you.
What am I buying?
Number go up, baby.
Wisdom, dropping
Floor price
knowledge.
go up.
That is the alpha.
Number go up.
Number go up.
So what are some trends, some future trends, emerging trends in the Web3 IP storytelling development? Like what trends do you see coming up?
I want to jump on this. So it's AI, and I mean, Butoshi's here. I mean, we work with him. The AI, we are an AI art and storytelling project. So I mean, our original collection was done with AI art. A lot of this stuff that we create is with AI art and storytelling. We create AI video. So we have bots in our Discord that were programmed with Butoshi that are storytelling bots that tell their own stories and speak to each other. So I mean, like this is growing at an exponential rate. It will continue to grow. AI is going to play a bigger part. So for me, like that's the no-brainer answer.
You guys see any other emerging? You see any other emerging technology other than AI?
For us, we're also integrating AI in our workflow. It's more of tools, basically, just increasing the productivity with our workflow from pre-production to post-production through our animation studio. So nothing too different to what they said.
AI for the win? AI is going to replace all of us? Is that the future?
Yeah, I mean, AI, you got to dance with it. It's here now. It's like an unwanted person, let's say, moving into your neighborhood. You can't kick them out, so you gotta orbit around each other. So it's here. Use it as a tool. Use it as your assistant to exponentialize what your valuable asset really is. You've got to produce. So we all need assistants that we don't need to pay. You got to get to work. It'll help you out getting to where you got to get to faster, to me.
I do have a question for you guys. Tell me, what was the process creating Ordinals? Like, what went into it? What was the thought process, the brainstorming before it was launched? Like, go a little deeper into details of why that came about.
So we were not the original founders of Ordinals. We minted. We were into the community day one. But the original founder, the story is he had a baby and he's like, you know what, I cannot support this project anymore. I'd like the community to take it over. And so we made a bid and we took it over, and that's been almost a year now. So the reason why we took it over is we saw an opportunity to do something that we had been trying to do in Hollywood for many years, which is to build a brand around something that's really new and fresh, and in this case, something that we loved, which was anime, and to really, again, own the IP of that brand, to have a community that we already had kind of been in and been a part of and like knew everybody in it, and build together. So again, community building around IP to build a brand and a story that we thought was fucking cool. And you know, we're not just like storytellers, we are world builders. So to have something like Ordinals where we immediately saw something there that was bigger than just the PFP pictures, but you know, this could be a fucking new Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica. This could be really something that's fucking cool, and it's on us to do it. And that was like a challenge, that was an opportunity that we just, you know, we couldn't pass that up.
Yeah, so anything, if it has eyes on it, need your attention, please. If it has eyes on it in the picture, I'm gonna give it a soul. That's what I look for. I'm building story depth here. I'm not screwing around. There's kids in here. I was about to drop the F-bomb, so I'm being respectful, okay? But the world is rated R, so catch up with me. So we're not rushing to build, because if you build a story and you're outputting animation, most TV shows die by season 1, maybe if that. It's very rare to have something like The Simpsons last for 40 years, right? Other than soap operas that last forever, and you know how that works, right? I don't want to write soap operas, and I've been on them. Believe me, it's not fun. So when we saw Ordinals, we minted it, we wrote the lore day one, and we dropped it in the Discord, and everybody thought that was the lore. That's how good we are. It's how good we are. We can write that in our sleep. Instant depth. We're not messing around here trying to get you to buy our stuff. Like, what story do you want to tell? The story where you kind of did things, or the story that you really went for it, failed, but it was on your clock, and you get back up and you keep going. There's no rush here, but it's like there's no rush. Take your time, but expediently build every day. We've got a lifetime for number to go up. No ceiling to the growth of Ordinals in general, or in Bitcoin in general. But with a whole community, we can sharpen. You get 300 inputs to sharpen the tool set for like a lifetime. And that's what we're about. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, I mean, to add to that, you know, like, since we did not mint the collection, like, we are not the original founders, and we have not actually minted another collection. So we have made no money on Ordinals. We have only done it for passion and for the community. We have not extracted a single cent or a single sat from our community. We are building because we fucking love it. And, oh, sorry kids. But it's really because, you know, like, we saw a bigger picture and a longer game. We're gonna build a brand and a world that we think that we can take it and create something much larger. So eventually, yeah, we'll probably release something, but we have not done a release in a year. We've only been building.
I'll close with this. I've been in this space for 4 years. I have not charged for one mint that I've done at all. But when the time comes, you will pay for it because I'm here. I'm a fucking champion. Excuse me, I broke my rule. I'm a champion that fails a lot, and I win all the way to the top, and I'm here. I'll say it again. I'm present. I'm here. I never walk away. I will outlive most of you. I will outlive most of you.
I think it's the ring.
That might be-
I think it's
No,
the
no,
rope.
It is.
I talk this way anyway.
He's ready to fight.
Yeah. Believe me. Believe me.
Yes.
These notes.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Tosyo, you mentioned about your animation studio. Give us a little bit more details about the services you guys provide.
Oh yeah, sure. So with Studio Yashiko, a brief history of what we do there, or how it started. So basically, this studio, how it started, I met this friend where the animator told me that this animation studio went bankrupt. So what I did was we just acquired 30% of their employees, of those animators. Then when I was looking into it, I realized that we can build we can help build brands to different communities in Web3. So we've been doing it for a while now. We've been providing value or services to Bodogos, such as Bodogos, and recently Pudgy Penguins. We've been providing animated shorts. So it can be in different lenses, if you may say. So what I'm trying to say here is that to anyone who's interested starting short animated content, whether it's anime or let's say Western style animation, we can provide those services basically to anyone in Web3.
Well said. So we are running short on time, so I'm just going to go around the room, your final thoughts, if possible, so we could close this out. Good start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically for me, Web3 and IP is something powerful, and it empowers the community to anyone, regardless if it's Ethereum, Solana, or Ordinals. We're all here as a family. I think all of us are here going to work together in harmony.
I'm still on mushrooms, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
You got that good shit.
I'm kidding. I mean, look, we're talking about IP. IP has a very special place in Web3 because I believe we're an avatar species, right? Like, we grow up looking at IP, consuming IP, and our identities are formed through that IP, right? Like, we adopt the personalities and values of IP we love. So this is a very unique chance and a moment in history in humanity where for the first time, the masses of people, like the audience itself, can have a hand in developing something that could be passed down for generations to generations. So I think at the end of the day, what that means is that you should support IP projects in the ordinal space because it does have a really good chance of bringing more eyeballs in from Web 2 and from outside audiences because most people don't care about technology. Nobody knows what code your phone is using, to operate or the video games you play. But people do remember the feeling that you leave with them when you tell really good stories, which these guys do really well. And don't mess with this guy, by the way. He's an actual champion in Taekwondo. Like,
and Kung Fu. But I appreciate that. Yeah, listen, by the way, young lady, I'm sorry I dropped an F-bomb. What do you want to be when you grow up? Not you, the girl behind you. Sorry, 'cause she's... What do you want to be when you grow up? What'd she say? It's okay if you don't know. She wants to be the police? Be the best policewoman you can. So here's my point.
I was kidding about the mushrooms. I mean,
no. Well, but here's my point. I'll repeat what I said last. What kind of story do you want to tell with your life? Right? Do you want to meet yourself based on the decisions that you make today? You can only answer that. You want to be driving at your life like I would follow. Here's life alpha for you. If you're down and your life is imbalanced, I would look at the hero's journey. Because on page 10 in a screenplay, on a great screenplay, you cannot break classic dramatic structure. If you do, you're building a project on sand. Some projects here in this very room are built on blocks, right? And they're going somewhere. So on page 10 in a screenplay, an inciting incident happens that turns your life upside down. And most people in life, they run away from that call to action. They do. And we all go to the movies to watch great stories because that main character in that story finally answers the call to action because his friend says, dude, that's the thing you gotta do. That thing right there to get through to where you gotta go. That's how you have to approach life. You have to be a force to be reckoned with because again, what story do you wanna tell with your life? The life that you didn't do something or the one where you did do something? Get busy living or get busy dying. It's from Shawshank Redemption. And that's written by a writer who is a real person that is doing, an ordinary person is doing extraordinary things. That's Steven Spielberg's model. Remember that. In anything you do, tech, whatever the hell you do, what story are you telling? That's it.
Thank you. Well said, well said.
I gotta follow Troy.
he actually, that's life alpha. He's actually got some real alpha. So.
Well, I mean, to close on that, because you know we need a palate cleanse. It's like, what kind of movie would Matrix have been if Neo said, "Fuck it, I'll take the blue pill," right? So like, that's it. That's the inciting incident. Are you gonna step forward and take the challenge at hand, or are you gonna just go back to sleep? Wake up, open your eyes, go back to sleep. Anyway, so the alpha I'm about to drop is kind of new because we haven't really said anything about it. Even my community doesn't really know about it, but Ordinals is partnering with the country of Bali, which is one of my favorite places in the world, to bring Balinese culture into our lore, and we've already released the first chapter of it. But I bring this up because it shows again the opportunities that can come through Web3, which you can create in crazy connections. This one came through friends of ours. And we're now partnering with a country to bring lore and culture to Bitcoin. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well said, well said. So we are currently out of time. We won't have any time for Q&A. If you do have questions for these panelists, and if you want to know about the Mushroom Connect, Star Lordy will be available
Snoop
outside.
Toshi. Snoop Toshi. Talk to Snoop Toshi for any mushrooms. No.
I probably will.
Pizza.
Thanks, guys.
Mushrooms on pizza. Ninjas.
Please give a round of applause for
Gotcha.
our guest. Thank you.